welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's doing well. We're back working on the TJ today, and fingers crossed, if everything goes well, we will have it 100% completed and back together in today's video. We have a lot going on in this little area right here. The TJ is completely apart. There's just parts and pieces everywhere. Ignore this axle. This is for the YJ. We'll talk about that more in a YJ video, but this is a TJ video. This is Lucas from the future. I'm standing right next to my Jeep. There's a little sneak peek of it right there. Yeah, I'm filming the outro for this video and wanted to tell you guys a few things before we get started with part 3 of the frame swap. Maybe not a few things, but 2 things. So the first thing is I am going to do a full walk around of the frame, everything that I liked about it, how the process went. Do I recommend a frame swap? Do I recommend a TDK frame swap? Going the brand new route versus going a older frame, that type of video. And then 2, my dad and I, probably my mom and my wife, we're all gonna be at Pigeon Forge, the Jeep Invasion coming up. So we are gonna be in a booth. I'll give you guys some more information on that at a later time. But the TJ is gonna be there. We look forward to meeting you guys. Anybody that's gonna be there and wants to see the Jeep in person, make sure you come check it out. Like I said, I'll give you some more information on what booth we're gonna be in. I'll probably pop it up on this video so you guys know. We have my front axle and my rear axle, which we're getting ready to roll outside. We are going to pressure wash them and get some good paint on there. When we first got these axles, this was how they were. I don't think we even painted them. I think we painted the rear axle, but that was about it. Yeah. So the front axle needs to be cleaned and painted. You can see there's some rust starting to form, which we need to take care of. The Jeep is sitting on the frame where it was in the last video. We're waiting on a couple brackets to show up from Throttled Out and Customs. And then once we get those mocked up and welded on, and we're good with where they are, we can tear this completely apart, get the frame prepped for paint it, and then we can start assembly.
Yeah, man, the paint should dry pretty quick, so within less than probably 8 hours or so, we can probably start putting everything back on.
Yeah, and one of the big things is gonna be getting inside the frame. We wanna get as much paint inside the frame as possible, so that's gonna be very important. Right there is the motor, which we are going to be taking apart a little bit to get the header on. Which should be fun. Once we get the header on, we can put the trans and transfer case on and then also get that mocked back up into the Jeep. So we got a lot of work to do, but we're gonna do it and you guys are gonna watch and it's gonna be fun. So we'll see you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy. All right, we're gonna let these dry and then we can start scuffing them up, getting them ready for paint. So they should dry pretty quick.
Okay, our TDK frame brackets showed up, and we're gonna go ahead and get these mocked up. These are the ones that are gonna be for the rear bed, and these are the ones that are gonna be for the cab. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the urethane bushings that we got, and we're gonna go ahead and mock those up on the actual bed and cab. While they're where they need to be, we're gonna go ahead and tack these in place, pull the bed and cab off, and go ahead and do a full weld on them.
Yeah, these, we've just been waiting for them, and they're finally here so we can move forward with the build. Kind of sitting around doing nothing while these have been en route to the garage. So once we get all these finished up, we're gonna pull everything off, get it sanded, get it painted, then we can put it back together. Yesterday we ended with welding or tacking on the frame brackets to the frame so we could secure the body and the tub, or tub and the bed to the Jeep. We have a lot of work to do today. The goal is to get these two off, fully weld those brackets, and then start sanding and painting.
Yeah, we expected to have the frame painted by this morning, or I should say last night, but because we ran into some snags on the brackets for the bed and the tub, just because the frame's fine, it's just putting these new brackets in a place they weren't really before. Took us some time to measure, cut, and fabricate. So those are all done. So I think we're just going to lift all this off, get the frame prepped, painted, and then we can start putting everything back together.
Yeah, so the goal today, the paint's gonna dry really quick. If we can get the paint and everything on, we can hopefully get the Jeep 80 to 90% put back together.
Yeah.
Maybe 100%. See how it goes. It's all the little pieces in the interior and engine bay that take up the most time. So see what we can get done. We got the entire frame sanded, the skid plate sanded. We're gonna set some plastic down so we can start wiping it down with some solvent, get ready to paint it. So we'll walk through everything we're using to paint the inside of the frame, the outside of the frame. We'll walk you through everything we're using and just give you guys an idea. So if you ever want to do this or repaint a frame, you know what you could use.
So we just got finished sanding the entire frame, which was a lot of work. That was probably the most time-consuming process of this whole thing, as far as getting it prepped and ready to go. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna wipe it all down with a solvent, and we're gonna use our Eastwood Rust Encapsulator Plus. We've got a gallon here, which is pretty nice. We can use this in a brush-on, roll-on, and actually a spray-on, which I would love to have tried on this frame here. Only we're dealing with some stuff inside here. We can't spray it, and it's not really that great of weather outside. So we're gonna brush this on and roll it on and get it into all the nooks and crannies. And then we've also got it in an aerosol form that is gonna be great for any of the areas that we can't get to with brushing and rolling. We can actually squirt this into some of those areas. That'll be nice and accessible. And then the last thing we're gonna use is our cavity wax from 3M. And what's nice about this is you can use this in anywhere you have a hole and you're concerned about internal rust. And in order to get into the tight spots, we've got our extensions. And so these are flexible. My understanding is we haven't used these yet, but these are reusable. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that goes. We've got a few cans of this. This is gonna make sure that everything on the inside is completely rust-free.
What we're going to do now is use the internal frame coating and the long tubes to try to coat anything on the inside we can reach. We're also going to try to do this now while it's unpainted underneath, because if anything drips through, mainly the skid plate bolts, the holes for those, if they drip through, then we'll be able to clean it up and it's not on the fresh paint. Oh, well, be careful when you get there. So weird. I just want to know what it looks like. Oh, what'd you just do?
Rig myself.
Sprayed it all over my face. And you're like, God. Jeep frame is completely bone dry. It's fully painted. We have the internal coating in, and everywhere we could reach with the extensions, Everything's painted, ready to go. So we're gonna flip it over, start putting the whole Jeep back together. We'll see how far we get today. My mom thinks it's gonna take us 3 hours. So we'll see if we can do it in 3 hours. I highly doubt it, but at least get the Jeep back together and running today. So here we go. There's not going to be a lot of talking. We're just going to try to put this together as quickly and efficiently as possible, but the right way. So probably a lot of time lapses. So enjoy the music I put on this and watch us put the Jeep back together. Well guys, you watched part 3, the last episode of the frame swap on my Jeep TJ. As you can see behind me, the Jeep TJ is sitting there. I've been driving the absolute crap out of it whenever I get a chance. Also, it is really hot out today, so if you see me sweat my ass off, then that's why. And I just got done working out and wanted to get this video up for you guys this weekend. So yeah, let's just go over the Jeep real quick. So here it is, completely done. Doesn't look much different. If you saw this Jeep a few times over the past few years, you Probably wouldn't notice anything different. The only thing that stands out is going to be the skid plate down there. That's really the one noticeable feature of the TDK frame. Other than that, it looks like the same Jeep TJ that my dad and I built in the garage a few years ago, which I absolutely love that. Everything has been working flawlessly. There is one little hiccup that I'm going to fix in the front end of the Jeep, and that's adjusting the angle of the track bar in the front. The one difference when we did the frame swap is the track bar bracket onto the frame. We had TDK leave it off because we knew we had to weld on our own. Welding on our own meant we had to locate it and put it in the right spot, which we put it where we needed it to. I think it just needs to be a little lower on the frame side or higher on the axle side. So I already bought what I needed to buy from Barnes 4-wheel drive. I have a welder coming from Eastwood, and I'll make the adjustment and get it all fixed and figured out. But it doesn't keep me from driving the Jeep. I've still been driving it everywhere with no issues. Huge fan of the Skyjacker suspension. The springs and shocks are working perfect. I do need to get bump stops in the front and rear. As you can see, I'm bump stopless. And I've already reached out to Skyjacker because I think the rear shocks, I just need to change out or try a new set, just because I think there's a little bit more weight on the rear of the bed. So you can see there's not a lot of up travel right there, which the guys over at Skyjacker have been really cool with trying to figure out a solution for that. But yeah, very happy with it. Rides really well. Not much has changed. It does feel very sturdy on the road. The frame feels a lot heavier. The Jeep feels heavier, which I do like that and I prefer it. But I've just been enjoying it, man. It's been a while. It's been a few months since it's been in my possession and on the road with me. And as everyone knows, when your Jeep comes off the road or your off-road vehicle, whatever your project car is, and you have to take it off the road for some time, and it's always been the baby that you love driving, it sucks to have it off the road. So to have this thing back on the road, it's awesome, and been very happy. And yeah, so it's time to take it to some shows. And one of those shows is going to be Pigeon Forge, the Jeep Invasion. My dad and I are bringing this Jeep. It's going to be in a booth. Give you guys more information on that at another point in time. But yeah, super excited. It's going to be a fun time. Hope to see some people there. We were going to bring the YJ, but parts orders and some deadlines are preventing us from doing that. But we have some update videos coming on that. So hope you guys enjoyed this video series. I have 2 more videos coming out on this, as I mentioned before in the beginning of this video. So look forward to those.